It is Hospice Awareness Week, but we're talking particularly about funding for hospices. Is there a charity, a hospice charity shop, maybe in your high street somewhere near you? Well, for the first time, those charity shops for hospices are now providing more money to support the natural funding the hospices get from government. That's never happened before, but it's the first time they're getting more money from those charity shops than from government, from the NHS. Well, so this year, Hospice Week focusing on retail, and many of the fundraising efforts through shops like cafes and sponsored events, of course, wouldn't happen without volunteers. Volunteers are hugely important in making sure these places stay open. Well, Sally is 17 and a volunteer for the Prospect Hospice in Rawdon. Sally, thanks for coming in.
It's lovely to meet you.
So tell me about your decision. Why did you decide, I've got a bit of spare time, I'm going to volunteer for Prospect Hospice?
Well, I've always known that Prospect do such amazing work. I have a family member who works for them, and so they've been quite a big part of my life since I was very little. And when I knew that they wanted a volunteer to help out with their social media, I thought that's the perfect thing for me. I love helping out and I love social media. I'm very passionate about it, and I love that I can create videos that help more people learn about the hospice.
So that's your role then, is it? Tell me the kind of thing you might do then.
Well, I come in once a week and I film videos to post on their media. So they tend to be short, like 30-second-ish videos. I've done lots of different things, like interviewing the people who work in their charity shops and also doing like tours of their distribution centre, and just speaking about lots of different things that the hospice do.
And why do you think that is so important, particularly on that kind of platform?
Definitely. It's so important, especially on platforms of social media. It's very important that we reach younger audiences and get more people talking and hearing about the hospice so that they know more about the amazing work that they do.
You're a teenager. I'm sure you could be doing this for something else. What is it you get out of it, would you say?
I just love it. I love that I can share how amazing this hospice are, and the people there are absolutely lovely. Every time I come in, it's just such a welcoming place to be, and it's just such a rewarding thing to do.
Because I think some people listening might think getting involved in whatever aspect of a hospice, it's going to be, given what you do, it's going to be horribly depressing. Is that not the case then?
It's not the case at all. I find when I'm working there, when I'm filming my videos and stuff, I very rarely think about how depressing the hospice can be seen. From the perspective of me, from when I go in, all I see are the lovely, bright, joyful faces of the people who work there. And when I'm interviewing people, everybody's so passionate about the work that they do, and it never feels depressing.
So what would you say if someone, your kind of age, thinking about doing maybe spare hours, that you're doing a bit of volunteering, what would you say to them about it?
I'd say absolutely. It's one of the most rewarding things I do in my life, and the charity shops are always needing new volunteers. Like you said earlier, the charity shops are producing more income towards the hospice than the government are, and so it's vital that we have lots of volunteers helping to support them.
And there's always great stuff in the charity shops.
Always, yes.
And what about, is it easy to get people to be in part of your videos, or they're going, oh no, not me, not me?
It can be a bit difficult sometimes. There are always lots of people who want to be filmed. Sometimes there aren't, but that's all right.
As long as you're enough going, no, it's okay. I've had my hair done. I'm fine. I'm up for this. Yeah. So what's your sort of favourite part of volunteering, would you say?
My favourite part, I think I'd say, is meeting the new people. I love going around the different charity shops and getting to speak to the volunteers and hearing, like, on a first-hand basis what it's like to volunteer here, especially because I'm only volunteering, like, in the actual hospice, what it's like to actually work in the charity shops. It's really interesting.
Absolutely. They've got to make sure they don't let us, like a little Leonardo da Vinci through, haven't they?
Yes.
Things like that. The pressure, I think, is enormous. And I imagine for you, actually, this is what you're doing as well, not just emotionally, but it's going to help your CV. You're doing stuff as well that's going to help you in whatever career you take on.
Yeah, it's great work experience. I learned lots more about social media, about marketing, and also just how hospices work in general. Before I started volunteering, there were so many things that I just didn't know. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's a really great experience.
Well, Sally, thank you so much for coming in. And so when we look on the website and we see those videos, is that your work?
Normally, yes.
Normally.
Not all of it.
Okay. I take the good ones. If you say, yeah, that one's definitely mine. And I guess if someone is interested in whatever hospice, whether it's a Prospect or whatever, about volunteering, just get in touch, and I'm sure they'll bite your hand off to say, yeah, come in and join us.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's Sally, 17, and she's volunteering then at the Prospect Hospice.